It looks like PC gaming gets to survive another year. In my last video, I reported on a PC Mag article, which this is now a follow-up to, saying that we would get 25% tariffs on graphics cards, motherboards, PC cases, etc., starting on June 15th, which would have been a bit of a disaster for the already kind of slumping PC gaming market. And so I'm happy to report that it looks like the US won't be imposing those tariffs on graphics cards for at least another year. Basically, this comes down to the fact that according to PC Mag, they say last week the US Trade Representative indicated to PC Mag that it would maintain the Trump-era tariffs on the PC components, which led them to misinterpret a federal document announcing the tariff action. Apparently, they've now had clarifications saying that there will be exclusions that will support efforts to shift sourcing out of China or provide additional time where, despite efforts to source products from alternative sources, availability of the product outside of China remains limited. Basically, what they're saying is certain things will get exceptions to the tariff, and it's looking like graphics cards and motherboards are still are on the exemptions list for at least one more year. Also, to further clarify this, it looks like PC Mag was contacted by ASRock, who makes motherboards as well as some graphics cards. And ASRock was saying that since they're a company selling PC motherboards and graphics cards, they've been watching the news, the policy news closely. And they said that we knew from the release document and also the forwarder we worked with is that the graphics cards are excluded from the extra tariffs until May 31st, 2025. So, good news. It looks like that's not going to be quite the impending doom. Hopefully these companies do respond to all of this and are set up ready to go a year from now if the tariffs do end up hitting, so we don't get that big disruption to the PC gaming market. Because things aren't looking great, in general, in 2024, it begins with decreased CPU and GPU shipments, AMD facing double-digit decline. This article's from WCCF Tech. All my sources will be in the video description. And they're quoting John Petty Research, where you can see the total GPUs by AMD, Intel, and Nvidia shipments. Keep in mind that you might be like, whoa, Intel has the lead here. This is not just discrete units. This is, in other words, this would include like laptop chips with an Intel, integrated graphics in it. And that's why it looks like that. If you look at GPU shipments versus rate and all of that, you can see that things are down here. So in general, if you look at things, it's not great year to year. So things are a bit down. Now, are people going to get excited when we get new cards coming out, like the 5090, for example? Well, what are the latest rumors on the 5090? Apparently, now the rumors are that it will be cut down to a 448-bit bus and 28 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory. Where is this coming from? Because when we're on the leaks and rumor side of things, you have to be careful with your sources. So again, I'm getting this from a WCCF Tech article. Where are they getting the information? This seems to be from Panzer. Okay, so this has to be German. Would this be pronounced Panzerlied? Something like that? I don't speak German. Anyway, the point is, he's saying in response to, wasn't the 512-bit rumor debunked long ago? And that was so long ago, didn't they say 384-bit later? And he's saying it is 512 bits, but the 5090 is only 448 bits. So the 5090 would be a cut down from the 512-bit die, allowing room for maybe a 5090 Ti or 5090 Super or something in the future. Now, Panzerlied, I don't know how to say it, has been right about things in the past, but again, that doesn't mean they're right about this. So that's that. We're also seeing rumors that it will be a dual slot and dual fan cooler. Now, that just seems to boggle the mind with how big graphics cards are getting right now. For example, you want to see one of the latest 4090s out there. So one of the latest 4090s, I think I just, where did we go here? I just totally lost my browser tab, guys. Here we go. We've got an RTX 4090 Supreme Fusion, which is a 4.5 slot thick water-cooled GPU. I mean, obviously this is an extreme example, But like GPUs are getting very big, especially high-end ones like the 4090. So the 5090 being a 2-slot card would be kind of, I guess, surprising, but that is what this rumor is suggesting. By the way, if you need a GPU slot to fit a to fit a massive graphics card, how about this new Gigabyte motherboard being reported to fit a 58 kilogram GPU? So at least we can support that. Now, that wouldn't stop the GPU itself from cracking, but at least the slot could support it. But anyway, I feel like I'm off the track here a little bit. So again, featuring a dual slot and dual fan cooler. Now, this rumor is coming from Kopite7 Kimmy, who has a very good track record, one of the most prolific GPU leakers out there. So he's responding to a report on Twitter saying, recent leaks suggest that the Nvidia's RTX 5090 may feature this huge Founders Edition cooler ready for more 4-slot GPUs. And Kopite is pretty, confidently saying, no, RTX 5090 FE has a 2-slot cooler. There you go. So I don't know what sort of, energy advancements or cooling advancements may have been made, since the last generation. What sort of power targets we're hitting on these, but Kopite out there saying 2-slot cooler. But again, leaks and rumors, take it for what it is. It could all just be utter nonsense. But anyway, one thing that was utter nonsense in the past could be being revived. What is this all about? So there was an old April Fool's Day joke from Nvidia talking about the Geforce GTX G-Assist, because this was from way back before we had RTX. This was a USB slot, device that was shaped in the form factor of a GTX 1080, and their whole thing about it was that it could do things like ghost play a game for you with its deep learning features, where it could basically help you out beating a boss with its AI. And anyway, it was an April Fool's joke. However, we are now seeing Nvidia GeForce, replying to that old, featuring that old April Fool's joke, saying the future is never far away. So what exactly do they mean by this? Are they actually going to come out with some sort of G-Assist product? Or are they just saying that old thing was, talking about all the AI features happening in games, and they're just like, hey, now the AI stuff is for real. But again, if they're actually hinting at something like the actual G-Assist, I would question that, because, it sounds like basically cheating. So if your graphics card was running an AI program that plays the game for you, which is, again, kind of what the joke was here, I'm not sure that's what we want, nor would that be good, at least in multiplayer games. So anyway, have to see if anything comes of that, but it's certainly an intriguing tweet there. Now, what is AMD up to? Well, we would expect to probably be seeing the Ryzen 9000 CPUs talked about at Computex next week. The early rumors on that coming from ChipHell are saying that it's probably 16, 12, 8, and 6 core configurations, which would match the previous generation core configurations, and that it would probably be launching in July. Now, again, this is leaks and rumors, and it's technically talking about Ferraris, although in code. So Ferrari's new engine still has the same number of cylinders as the previous generation. First released at the Taipei Auto Show, the 4 models of W16, W12, V8, V6 have no big or small cores. So now we're talking cores, guys, and will be on sale at the end of July. Okay, so anyway, make of that what you will. It's a leak. Could be just somebody posting something for fun to get attention, and hey, look, they got attention. Now, those new CPUs, whatever they end up being called and however their cores end up being configured, It looks like they will not be on 700 series motherboards, which would be what you would assume would happen after the 600 series of motherboards we just had. But it's looking like the rumor is AMD will be calling them 800 series motherboards, with the idea being to match Intel's numbering system, because if Intel has 800 series boards, we better have 800 series boards too, so people don't think we're worse, because bigger number better. And that's one of the most important things in tech, is bigger number better. Anyway, also we're getting rumors that we could be seeing AMD's next gen kind of more mobile focused chips in mini PCs happening in August. This appears to be due to a, is this the company owner? Anyway, posting that the big brand will be launched in August, and we estimate it will be around October. By brand and launch, we're talking about Mini-PC company. So it could indicate that we would be seeing the next gen of Mini-PCs with the next gen, processors to go with them. It'd be cool if those were the processors that have the big built-on iGPUs that we've been seeing leaked and rumored so much lately, because I'd be really curious how powerful those APUs can get if you just throw a massive number of cores at them. And in mini PC format could be kind of cool, because if it's not a battery-operated device, you're less concerned about how much power you can feed the cores. Anyway, we'll have to see what comes of it. It's looking like with Intel, we're seeing them setting their Innovation 2024 dates to September 24th, and perhaps that would be when we'd be seeing Arrow Lake incoming. Now, in the leak side of things, and these ones do appear to be legit, it looks like Intel had a meeting that was supposed to be under, NDA. It was under embargo. People weren't supposed to be talking about it yet, talking about Lunar Lake details. However, it's looking like there were, people taking pictures of the slide presentation, and then those managed to make their way out into the wild. So the details for Lunar Lake that we're getting out of this appear to be manufactured by TSMC, N3B Compute Tile, N6 SoC Tile, Skymont cores with double-digit IPC gain over Crestmont. So that would be talking about the efficiency cores. So it's looking like double-digit IPC gains over the previous generation of efficiency cores. 9-wide decode unit and 8-wide integer ALU, no low-power efficient cores in the SoC tile, and first laptops in October. So that's what's out there. Again, it looks like actual photos of, an embargoed presentation, so make of it what you will. I would put more credence into that than a lot of the leaks and rumors we get out there. Now, speaking of things we might see at Computex, this kind of caught my eye. What do you think about that, pre-built PC design? This is coming from Colorful, and it kind of looks like there's no case around this. It's kind of an open design where the motherboard is just kind of enclosed, and then it's all water-cooled all together with the motherboard and graphics card and everything. This being the Neptune line from Colorful, just all be kind of water-cooled here, but you do have access to the GPU and RAM slots, and I'm assuming you could pop off the cover and still change out the CPU in the future if you needed to. Looks pretty interesting. They've got a couple other lines out there as well, but kind of interesting. Yeah, like I said, I like to see an interesting new take on a pre-built. So that's kind of cool. Now, in other news that could be exciting for PC users is apparently PlayStation VR 2 headset has an official PC adapter. At least it's being certified by Sony according to documentation with the South Korean National Radio Research Agency. And this is being, I'm finding it here at WCCF Tech, but apparently they got this information from YouTuber Brad Lynch, who found a listing with the South Korean National Radio Research Agency. Now, we still don't know anything really about what it will do, how official this will be, whether we'll have good driver support and everything on PC for the PSVR 2. But all signs point to sales for the PSVR 2 being very slow. So if they're trying to sell through their units they've produced and maybe boost sales, getting it more accessible to PC users would certainly, I think, help out for that. There'd be more interest in the product there, and make it more, expand access to more games, all of that. Now, speaking of PlayStation and how they interact with the PC space, we're seeing headline, PlayStation CEO drastically underestimates the Steam crowd's patience, thinks PC gamers will buy a PlayStation 5 for exclusive sequels. So let's take a look at the quote here, because again, PlayStation has been a lot more willing to put their console exclusive games onto the PC platform lately. And we've even seen Helldivers 2 hit PC day and date with the initial launch, and it has sold extremely well. But other games we've still been waiting a long time for. But anyway, so what is the actual quote? So the quote is, indeed, we are bringing our titles to the PC platform, and we have a dual approach here. So dual approach, what does he mean? So he's talking about a difference between games as a service games and the big single player releases. So they're basically saying that live service games such as Helldivers 2 will be coming to both PC and PlayStation 5 at launch. So the live service games, PC day one launch. And they've had major success with that with Helldivers 2. But they're tentpole titles, the cinematic single-player action adventures that dominate PS4's exclusive output. We'll see, probably mean PS5 here. Anyway, we'll see staggered release on PC. They're saying we're finding new audiences that are potentially going to be very interested in playing sequels on the PlayStation platform. So he's talking about, maybe if you played the first game on your PC, maybe you'd buy a PlayStation just to play the sequel rather than have to wait. He's saying we have high hopes that we're actually able to bring new players into PlayStation at large, but into PlayStation platforms specifically. Actually, the same goals for the work that we do in extending our properties onto other media, such as television series and film. Anyway, so I'm curious what you guys think about this. If you'd been a PC gamer exclusively, and now that you've played some PlayStation games on PC, would you be interested in buying a PlayStation just to play the sequel ahead of time? Did you do that? For example, maybe you played God of War on PC, and maybe you bought a PS5 just to get Ragnarok before waiting for it to come to the PC platform. I'm curious about you guys on this one. Personally, I do buy PlayStations for some certain exclusive games. Like, I bought a PS4 pretty much to play Bloodborne, but the other reason why I wanted it was I do like having a Blu-ray player, so I also used it as a Blu-ray player. And then the PS5, I did get one at least partially to play Ragnarok, I'll be honest, but I feel like I'm probably kind of in the minority on that. I think most PC gamers would just wait for the sequel to come to PC or not play it at all. Now, speaking of which, I've seen some people take this quote as sequels won't come to PC, and I don't think that's what they mean. I think it just means that they won't come on day one. I think they'll make you wait a year or two. I'm not sure that's the right move. I think they would just sell more of them if they sold them on PC when the hype was still big, because you get the big marketing push for the game's initial launch, and you would get that big marketing push for the PC release as well. I have a feeling they would sell better, but anyway, that's my thoughts. It looks like we're getting, speaking of God of War Ragnarok, we are getting leakers saying that the announcement for the PC port should be imminent, but again, that's leaks and rumors, nothing official. Now, speaking of, again, PlayStation and intersecting PC stuff, in case you missed my video on it, frame generation is now on consoles in the form of FSR3 frame generation, although the only game to currently have it is Immortals of Avium, although the game does have a free trial available. And I tried it out, and as long as I was playing on my 120 Hz VRR capable TV, I had a very good experience with it. I thought it was very promising for the future of frame generation on consoles. And it looks like I'm not alone in being positive on this. I was the first, I couldn't find other people having tested it out when I did my test, but now it's looking like we're seeing reports of other people testing this out. It looks like this is a WCCF Tech article, but it looks like they're quoting Digital Foundry, who tested it out on Xbox. So my test was on PlayStation 5. They tested it out on Xbox Series X and also had a positive reaction to it. Again, especially when playing it in a variable refresh rate 120 hertz display. I had a much less positive experience when playing on like a 60 hertz locked refresh rate display, because then there was a lot of latency and you're not really pushing past 60 anyway, right? So there's that. Now, there's a whole bunch of handheld gaming PC news here. One of the bigger ones is that it looks like Zotac is getting into the gaming handheld space with a console called the Zone, or I guess Mini-PC, not really console, calling it the Zone. And this one will have an OLED display, which is very interesting to me because that's one of the things that a lot of them are lacking besides the Steam Deck OLED, is an OLED display. It would be really cool if it also had variable refresh rate support, because that's really the one thing I wish my Steam Deck OLED had, was variable refresh rate support. Now, this is out there. However, videocards.com is claiming an exclusive leaked bit of information about the specs. They're claiming that it will be a Ryzen 7 8840U based handheld, putting it at basically spec parity with a lot of the other handhelds out there, and that it will be a 120 hertz AMOLED screen. So anyway, they also got some other information on it as well, including things like Hall effect joystick and triggers with 2-stage adjustable triggers. Looks like 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X memory, a 512 gigabyte M.2 NVMe, and that it would be a 1080p display. It looks like a 48.5 watt hour lithium ion battery. So cool stuff there. Now, again, we'll have to see what comes of it when it actually releases. It will be up against updates to Asus's ROG Ally with their ROG Ally X. And again, I've already talked about video cards leaking some of these specs on that, including an upgrade to an 80 watt hour battery, which would put it ahead of the the Zotac device, and also fast memory at LPDDR5X 7500, which would put the Zotac device, which I guess we don't see the actual speeds on that. So it'll be interesting to see if it matches the speeds on that. So anyway, cool stuff. We'll have to see where they go with that. We're also seeing Lenovo talking about a Legion Go Lite edition. This coming from Windows Central originally. I'm seeing it here at videocards.com. But we don't have a lot of details on what exactly that will be. The speculation is just that it will be a cut-down version to be less expensive. So rather than being an upgrade, it's something to kind of make it more affordable. We're also seeing, speaking of upgrades, so this is interesting. As far as I can tell, this is a first of its kind of offer, although I'm not sure it's a good deal that you should take them up on. But AYANEO is talking about upgrading the handhelds that they've already released with Ryzen 7 based, Ryzen 7 6800U based systems, which are a less powerful APU. Like, I think it has only 8 compute unit based, integrated graphics versus the 12 on things like the 7840U and 8840U based systems. So it looks like they're offering a mainboard upgrade that would include an 8840U, but it would cost at least $500. And I think the end user would, plus shipping, and the end user would have to do the upgrade. So at that price point, I mean, it seems a little bit silly to me. And then if you wanted like higher than 16 gigabytes of RAM along with it, you'd be paying like $550, $700 if you want 64 gigabytes of RAM. So that's certainly interesting that you could upgrade the whole platform. But I feel like the price is high enough that you'd almost be better off putting it towards a newer device with a new screen, a new battery. Because if your old one's kind of, if the battery's getting used up, maybe you got some scratches on your screen, maybe your joysticks are starting to drift, right? Are you really going to put the $500 towards the upgrade on that? Seems, I don't know. I'm not sold on it, but I think it's an interesting idea to offer upgradability to these types of devices. I think if the price was lower, it would be more attractive to the consumer to actually do that. We're also seeing ADATA to unveil a new XPG NIA gaming handheld, although it doesn't look like we know anything about it at the time. And they're also talking about some other devices like an AI laptop with 24 terabytes of storage and 96 gigabytes of RAM, and the new LP Cam 2 memory. So that sounds like an interesting device for the right person looking for the right amount of storage and RAM. In other news, we are seeing DirectSR Preview is available now. Now, what is DirectSR? I've reported on this in the past, but if you missed it or have forgotten, this is an API for DirectX to allow game developers to more easily integrate AMD's FSR, Intel's XeSS, and Nvidia's DLSS technologies all into the same game at once. By giving them an API with common inputs and outputs, so that basically using DirectSR, you get your game set up for that, and then it will automatically then support all three upscaling technologies, which I think would be great, because I think at this point, game developers really should integrate all three, and so making it easier for them to do so is only a good thing, and the preview is now available. Speaking of super resolution technologies, there's also the new one, Microsoft's AutoSR, which is getting a lot of mixed information out there. I've been reporting on this. There were some articles talking about it being exclusive to the new ARM-based Qualcomm Snapdragon Elite-based devices. However, it looks like that is temporary exclusivity in just the fact that it'll just be the first device to support it. So it's not really exclusive to it. It just will be exclusive when it first launches because no other devices will have the support, the hardware to support it when these initially launch. So that's the clarification. So if you want the direct quote from a Qualcomm spokesperson, they're saying, the exclusive language is really about what is available today, so that will no longer apply if another technology becomes available that can meet Microsoft's performance threshold. So they're basically trying to claim exclusivity when really what they mean is they're just going to be the first one to have the hardware that supports that. Anyway, last thing I'll leave you guys with this is how old are you? Because apparently PC gamers are generally older than console gamers, although it kind of depends. If we're talking about the oldest age group, I think this is kind of interesting. So I'm seeing this reported by, I don't know how you'd pronounce this, Nvidia research, but it looks like they're saying that 23% of, here, I'll become the mouse pointer, 23% of PC gamers are 55 plus. Whereas console gamers, it's 11%, and mobile gamers, it's 26%. And it also looks like the ways that they like to play is very different based on age group. So when asked their favorite ways to play, again, the light blue color here is the 55 plus demographic. 74% of them said they prefer playing solo. They prefer playing single player games. And only 3% said they prefer online in big teams, and 7% said online in small teams. Whereas it looks like the 16 to 34 demographic are saying that 37% of them prefer playing solo as their favorite, whereas online in big teams is 22% and online in small teams is 30%. So quite a big difference there. And then if you look at the 35 to 54 demographic, again, it kind of falls in between. So it's looking like the way people play is very different based on their age, which I don't think is surprising. And I know that as I get older, I've certainly changed. I play way less online games than I did when I was younger. I am now in the 35 demographic. I am 35, guys. Anyway, so I fall into that group there. And I am playing more single-player games these days. But yeah, definitely, I don't think it's shocking to see that the console gamers skew younger for sure. But anyway, kind of interesting to see some actual survey results to confirm those ideas. Hopefully you guys found today's video useful and or interesting. Huge thank you to subscribers, viewers, channel members who clicked the join button to directly support the channel financially. Huge thank you. You guys get the little member badges on your comments and things like that, which is pretty cool, and some exclusive videos. I'm almost done with my school year teaching, so I plan to be able to get a lot more like short little members behind the scenes videos and things like that out over the summer. That is one of my summer goals, is to increase my channel member exclusive output. Not to paywall things, to be clear, but just stuff that wouldn't make sense as a video for the channel, but might still be interesting. Anyway, hope everyone has an excellent day, regardless of whether I understand not everybody's in a position to support with the join button. Don't want to pressure anybody for that. Just to make it clear, hope everybody has an excellent day, and I appreciate all of you.